Do all of the Hamilton songs, he said. Yes. There'll be what? 8?
Nope.
10?
You're wrong.
Oh no. There's like 100. There's almost no speaking in this. I did not know that. So this is going to be a long ride. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam Scott-Thorne and I am a vocal coach based in Glasgow. Now if you'd like to meet and explore your voice a little more, you can find me on sstvocals.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and Patreon, and I'll put the handles down below and over there. There. That was weird. I was just wrong, but we'll use it. So if you'd like to consider becoming a patron, you have access to things like early release of reactions, you can fast track reactions, become a reaction, there's special roles on my Discord server, there's educational Vocal 101 videos for you to enjoy exclusively, so consider becoming a patron and help shape my channel. Okay, so I did a video recently to Hamilton. It was the Schuyler sisters, I don't know how to say it still. A bunch of people have tried to tell me, but I can't remember. And I said in that video, shall I watch some more Hamilton? And everyone was like, yeah, do the whole thing. And I was like, yeah, I'll do the whole thing. And there's like a million songs. So we're gonna have to get started now if I'm gonna finish it before I turn like 90. So first up is Alexander Hamilton. Let's just do it.
How does a bastard, orphan, son of a whore, and a Scotsman dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by providence, impoverished and squalor, grow up to be a hero and a scholar?
This is really interesting. Now this is kind of rapped, kind of spoken word. It's almost just like rhythmic speaking, if you like. There's not too much intensity coming out. It's very subdued. So you're supposed to be taking in what this guy's saying. He's not flying all over the place so that you can't keep up. He's very measured in his delivery here. So it's, yeah, like a kind of a rhythmic speech. I like it though. Good. It's very powerful.
The $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. By 14, they placed him in charge of a trading charter.
This guy is a little bit more kind of delivered. It's a wee bit more punchy. Sits on a slightly higher plane, like probably just higher than his speaking voice would normally sit. So you get a tiny little bit more kind of twang in there, a little bit more punch to that sound, a wee bit more bite, but still in that kind of casual place of speech and rap. Sits somewhere in the middle.
And every day while slaves were being slaughtered and carted away across the waves, he struggled and kept his guard up. Inside he was longing for something to be a part of. The brother was ready to beg, steal, borrow, or barter.
You could really hear the twang on one of his words there. It was like, ah, you can hear that sound. Now, twang is a really useful tool for projecting your voice without having to thrash at it. So rather than having to shout and make his point across like that, you just kind of twang on it and it will project as much as it would have if you had to shout. It's really, really jagged, pointy, like laser focused sound. He mixed it really well though, so it wasn't as twangy as I was doing there, but he kind of managed to blend the realms of speech and twang together to make this really kind of casual but pointed sound. This is cool. If they're all rapping, I'm in. It's cool.
Then a hurricane came and devastation reigned. Our man saw his future dripping down the drain. Put a pencil to his temple, connected it to his brain, and he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his pain.
This is really funny. This is great because I'm just getting like one after the other. New guy that's come out here, his larynx has dropped. So he's getting this kind of low sound out of his voice. But when you do that, you can't twang on it. So it sounds like the floor is kind of dropped out from under that sound. When you've got the other guy that's doing this and he's doing this, It's very, very different in projection quality, but you get this real lovely texture out of that sound. I really love a low larynx sound. It carries weight, it carries importance, but you do lose a little bit of that projection, but I don't really care. It's great.
Well, the word got around, they said this kid is insane, man. Took up a collection just to send him to the mainland. Get your education, don't forget from whence you came. And the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man?
I like him. So he actually kind of started on almost a singing kind of sound, but then developed it into this rap again. So you got this kind of feeling that you were getting taken in a certain direction, and then he went, nope, we're back into rap. So there's a real movement to this song, even though it's very short. They're not getting a huge amount of time to settle into their sounds. They're going one to the other, to the other, to the other. But it's almost more effective that way. You're kind of like, it's like watching a tennis match. You're going from one to the other. But I think we're about to meet Alexander Hamilton. So let's go.
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. And there's a million things I haven't done. But just you wait, just you wait.
Okay, so this is Hamilton. Now, that was singing. Alexander Hamilton, my name is Alexander Hamilton. It's very, very vertical. His thyroid cartilage isn't tilting too much, so you're not getting that sweetness of sound. You're getting a very relaxed, casual sound. Almost like he's not singing, he's speaking. It's very close to speech, but he's mixing that into his singing voice, if that makes sense. So it aids in the character of his voice. You're kind of getting this blank check here. It could go in any direction. You're just getting a very, very formal introduction. Alexander Hamilton. He's not going, Alexander Hamilton, because then it's like way too performed. You're getting this like intimate little kind of sight into the character, if that makes sense. It's really good.
When he was 10, his father split, full of it, debt-ridden. 2 years later, see Alex and his mother bedridden, half dead, sitting in their room sick, the scent thick, and Alex got better, but his mother went quick.
Oh, I like that. I mean, not the fact that his mother went and died, but the vocal tone that was produced. So, was that one of the Schuler sisters? I'm sure I'll get a handle on this like 84 songs down, but so far I'm kind of having to guess. Now again, this was quite a vertical sound, but it was on quite a high larynx, so you get way more of an impression of a singy kind of sound, but only because she's pulling her voice into a place where it wouldn't normally sit through speech, if that makes sense. All the qualities are there for speech, but it's just been lifted onto kind of a higher plane. I loved the collective whisper that ended in as well. It was so powerful. It just drew the audience in. You go like that, and you kind of like, what's happening next? So let's find out what's happening next.
Moved in with the cousin committed suicide. Left him with nothing but ruined pride. Something new inside a voice saying, Alex, you gotta fend for yourself. We started retreating and reading every treatise on the shelf.
Okay, I don't know who he is either. His voice was a wee bit like the lower larynx guy in that it wasn't very twangy, but it was sitting on more of a mid place, so again, where his speech would sit, but it had a lot of texture through it, kind of R&B kind of sounding as well, and he sat a lot more on his consonants than his vowels, so it gives kind of a jazzier, kind of more kind of modern sound. I say modern then reference jazz, which has been around forever, but you know what I mean. You could kind of define that as husky if you wanted to just categorize it into a place, but husky has a lot going on, so let's keep going and see what happens.
Would have been nothing left to do for someone less astute. He would have been dead or destitute without a sense of restitution. Started working for his late mother's landlord, reading sugar cane and rum and all the things he can't afford.
So this guy takes his rap and puts it kind of in the upper plane of his voice. He's getting loads of little creaks and cries over the top of some of his phrases there. So it sounds really intense, like he's almost like screaming or crying. There's a lot of emotion in that kind of sound. Very frustrated almost when you add in that texture from his false vocal folds. His voice is possibly the one that's the most characterful at this moment in time. Very good.
Standing for every book he can get his hands on. Planning for the future, see him now as he stands on the bow of a ship headed for a new land. In New York, you can be a new man.
Yeah. He's mixing twang and then dropping his larynx and getting a load of texture through as well. So you're getting that, hey, I'm in New York kind of sound. And then he's going, ah! And adding in this like low larynx growly sound as well. Now this is the first time I've heard this, so go easy on me. I'm just making sounds as I hear them. It's not going to sound as polished as the people that have rehearsed it for ages. Just before I start getting comments. But really good. His voice is just loaded with character. There, that was where his twang came in. Just you wait. He's really leaning in on that twang sound there. It's a projection that you don't have to work too hard to get. The physiology behind it is basically your epiglottis is closing over your folds, but not so much that it's actually closing over the top of them. And it's changing the shape of the vocal tract, which is making that airflow much more pointed, making the sound much more projected with a little effort. You can kind of tell when somebody's in a twangy spot because it just sounds so effortless, whilst at the same time being like really quite dauntingly piercing. If you go back and listen to him in this kind of mid place where he's kind of doing question and answer with the chorus line to that way kind of sound, you'll hear the difference instantly. One is punchy and projected, one is kind of muted. The power behind twang cannot be underestimated.
America forgot him.
We fought with him.
I died for him.
Me, I trusted him.
I loved him.
And me, I'm the damn fool that shot him.
What?
What's your name, man? Alexander Hamilton.
What an opening. Oh, what's happening here? That is a pretty good opening number. That kind of sets the scene for everything. It kind of tells you what is gonna happen in the musical, I think. I mean, maybe it doesn't. But that little bit with the breakdown of his connection to all the other characters, very interesting. Good way to kind of set the scene, if you like. Gets the audience invested. Very, very good. That chorus is amazing as well. It's such a full sound. It's all very well balanced, so they're not all twanging to hell because it would just be horrendous to listen to. They're letting their main characters come through with that kind of sound, and everyone else is sitting in a much less twangier place, and it just gives this kind of like full sound behind it. It's really, really strong. But yeah, I'm interested. Do you want me to keep going? Let's keep going. So I hope you liked that reaction. If you did, please give it a like and a thumbs up down below. And if you want to see more from me, then hit subscribe, ring the bell, and anytime I have new content, you will be the first to know. So I guess all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining me. And how are we going to buy this one? Let's twang it, will we? So I guess all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining me, and I'll say goodbye! Ooh, I don't like the sound of my voice when it twangs, but maybe you do. I don't know. Bye!